Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Welcome in, everybody, for this monumental press conference. Thank you for joining. If you can hit the like button, whether you want them freed or not, please hit that like button. I'm going to get a poll going as we wait for the Los Angeles District Attorney to announce whether the boys are going to be resentenced or not. Hey, Paul. Uh-oh, we lost our feed. They'll come back. They had to change. Look at, what are they doing? Get back. Get the feedback. Get the feedback. Oh my gosh, you guys, they are still editing their sound. I'm so sorry. They're still getting set up for the press conference. Put a 1 in chat if you'd like to see them resentenced and go free. Put a 2 in chat if you think they are where they belong for the rest of their lives. I know. I'm sorry about the audio. They did that. A big 2, says Alyssa. Lori says 2. Lots and lots of 1s. Lots and lots of 1s. We've only got a couple 2s. Mary's coming in with a 2. Look at all of the press there. I'm telling you guys, this is a moment in history. And what happens here, if these guys get released, this will change our future. I hope you guys realize that. This is really, really important. 30 years ago, these guys were ridiculed, laughed at, made fun of. Saturday Night Live skits about their sexual abuse and their reactions to their abuse. This is Menendez, Chris. So the District Attorney of Los Angeles is expected to come out and say whether they're going to let them be resentenced or not. They've spent 35 years in prison for the murders of their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, in 89. Some of you may not even have been born when this happened. And we can thank the younger generation, like Paul in chat, for being the more sensitive generation, for being the generation to speak up, for being the generation to not be shamed, especially for boys. Especially for boys. So here we go, guys. I might scream. I might unmute and scream if they get resentenced. I am extremely excited to see this.
Remember where that is? Yeah. I'll tell you how much it feels.
Try not to move the flag.
Yes, whatever you did. Yeah.
Joan, how are you feeling leading up to all this?
Their lawyer, Mark Garrigo, said that he's having them for Thanksgiving supper if they get out. Do you think that the brothers will have social media if they get out? Put a 1 if so. If they're going to go viral on social media, I think they can help people. I really do think they can help people. While you guys are waiting, if you could hit the like button, it would be great if you could thank you for being here.
There's some chairs over there. Ask them if you have some. All those chairs. Yeah, but then look at the new ones sitting. We need to get them. Yeah, so we need to make room for the family to sit a little closer. You want these people clear back? Oh yeah, we're not going to be able to have any media standing here. We're going to leave this whole area. We need to clear off this area over here too. Leave some room, please.
What do you want?
Okay, we're gonna need to make some room for the families to sit in the chairs. There's more families gonna sit there. Not a little bit more. Test. 1, 2. Test. 1, 2. Okay. We can't have the media standing along this. They have to stay away. So make sure when it's time to. Yeah, you can't have anyone. Can everyone please silence their phones?
Give me just a second.
Computers, volume off, please. Thank you. little chairs over there. Make sure there's people walking around. It's a fire hazard. I have all these.
Kristen, it's so good to see you. How you doing?
Yes, we do. Not yet. Not yet. It's just us.
There's some chairs over on the side if anybody wants to take a seat. I have a hallway blocked from the news conference.
These are family members in the couple. These are family members in the couple.
Which is better than mine. I don't want to have to go
They're still waiting.
If you actually do some
Everyone's really good. Jump between the chemical lives. That's why I'm just hanging to the side. Sorry.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. First things first.
Everyone, we'll get started in a few moments. There'll be 2 speakers, or 3 speakers. Today we'll go first. We're taking a ton of questions. We've given a lot of folks sit downs the last few weeks, so we think we've covered that. But you will have a few opportunities. Too many folks in here.
Sit over there. We're just have this hallway lined up. Just a tease going through here.
October 24th.
There's a couple chairs over there.
There's chairs here. There's chairs here. There's people sitting here. Hi.
It's no secret, we're going to be hosting something in Chicago after.
That's a press conference?
The engine company, Mark's office. Yes. Trial room.
No, it's actually, I don't know, I keep saying that, but it's a reply to the 26, which is just completely coincidental. No, what? I mean, of all the 365 days of the year, that's the day that I said, out of all the days, yeah. 6, which is yours. Somebody said that to me. Yeah, really? And November 26th is the day that we that's the day which I hopefully
I can't wait. I can't wait. It sounds like an experience.
Let you judge for yourself.
You ask Benji before you walk out the door.
I'm scared of stories.
She's older than me, is it?
No, she's close
I don't know. They're looking at it. No.
26 October is November. You have concerts.
I'll make sure you're not.
We're all coming. Sometimes you must get mixed up with the good ones.
I was born in
You're a gift.
She was upset about it when she wasn't happy. She made the whole thing. I started schooling preschool sons first graders well, it was something else because I didn't want to do and that first day in school, how many days that were I got no idea. Never forget that she had a breastfeeding. It's just a long
With a broken collar.
They started school failure. But I always still call it.
What do you guys think the holdup is? Do you think they're actually? Wouldn't it be funny if they brought the boys out, like, and let them hug Joan? I don't think it would ever happen. They should reel it like a TV screen in, and like, here's the boys on Zoom.
Closer. Nothing there.
Something was done.
They're going to be out there long.
Yeah. It's all my own.
That's a lot.
But I can always feel it.
I can't tell you why, just not.
Maybe because those cold winters in Chicago.
Yeah. It wasn't Susan.
No, you're right.
My grandmother yeah, or my great uncle came first. We were all all the way from the world, but they realized that where they would go from the track to the home, they were making more money than picking up the trash. So they started the started all the okay, oh, I think there's something that we go see. Warming your seat.
Oh, right.
Alexander.
Oh, rich to meet you. I've heard of you. Before, I always say, hello to these women.
The only thing that's true is the back.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good to hear. What a great day.
I fit that almost good. When you were sitting, I was trying to see if it's right. It was hanging down. I know.
You're awesome!
We're gonna get started, everyone. Yeah, let's start moving.
That's what I'm saying. No, they're perfect.
And Maria, you could stand here, and then we'll Karen stand next to you. And then our family, you can just kind of bunch in. The closer, the better for the cameras. We can have, yeah, if we have some family members stand on this side as well, that would be great. And just the closer, the better.
Menendez, a case that has made national headlines for decades. That is George Gascon, the Los Angeles County DA. Let's listen to a decision that he could make about their future.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And before I begin speaking, I want to also introduce some other people that are here with me, and hope I'm pronouncing the names right because I've seen handwritten part of it. But I have Ana Maria Barat, Jose Menendez, Jose Menendez and niece Karen Bender-Mollen, and Katie's niece. They're all here with us. Also with us here is Brock Lunsford. He's the assistant head deputy for the post-litigation conviction unit, and Nancy Cervier, who is the deputy district attorney in charge of the resentencing unit. Let me begin by telling you that this is a case where we've had many people in this office spend a great deal of time reviewing the case. I have to tell you unequivocally that we don't have a universal agreement There are people in the office that strongly believe that the Menendez brothers should stay in prison the rest of their life, and they do not believe that they were molested. And there are people in the office that strongly believe that they should be released immediately and that they were in fact molested. I have to tell you that after a very careful review of all the arguments that were made for people on both sides of this equation, I came to a place where I believe that under the law, resentencing is appropriate, and I am going to recommend that to a court tomorrow. What that means in this particular case is that we're going to recommend to the court that the life without the possibility of parole be removed and that they will be sentenced for murder, which, because there are 2 murders involved, that will be 50 years to life. However, because of their age, under the law, since they were under 26 years of age at the time that these crimes occurred, they will be eligible for parole immediately. The teams that have worked on this, on the resentencing side of it, have spent literally probably hundreds of hours by now looking at this case. These cases were originally presented on the habeas side of it, which I'll explain in a moment what that is, last year, and then the request for a prosecutor-initiated resentencing occurred earlier this year. And there have been people in this office working in these cases from the very beginning, as well as many other cases that we have. The reason why I'm here today and why I came in front of all of you about 10 days ago is because there was a more recent documentary about the case that again brought a tremendous amount of public attention. And we know there have been other documentaries, so this is not the first, this is a more recent one. And frankly, our office got flooded with requests for information. And even though this case was already scheduled to be heard in late November, I decided to move this forward because, quite frankly, we did not have enough resources to handle all the requests. And one of the things that I thrive to do in this office is to be very transparent in everything that we do. In this case, we review the prison files. And you have to understand that the way the process works, when you're talking about a resentencing under the law, it really focuses not necessarily on what the original crimes were, but it focuses on, has the person been rehabilitated, number one, and number two, can they be released safely into their community? Under that rubric, since I've been in office, we have resentenced over 300 people, including 28 for murder. Only 4 have reoffended. If that was a regular recidivism rate in this country, we would be the safest nation in the world, but we know that it's not. In fact, somewhere between 40 and 50% of the people that go to prison reoffend and get rearrested. And that's why we have so many problems. However, when you look at the case of the Menendez brothers, you see 2 very young people. One was 19 and the other one was 21 when they committed these horrible acts. And I want to underline, they were horrible acts. There is no excuse for murder. And I will never imply that what we're doing here is to excuse that behavior, because even if you get abused, the right path is to call the police, seek help. But I understand also how sometimes people get desperate. We often see women, for instance, that have been battered for years, and sometimes they will murder their abuser out of desperation. And I do believe that the brothers were subjected to a tremendous amount of dysfunction in the home. and molestation. But they went to prison for life without the possibility of parole, which meant that certainly under the law at that time, they had no hopes of ever getting out. They could have done what many other people do, which is basically said, you know what, I'm here for the rest of my life, so I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to misbehave, I'm going to join gangs, I'm going to live the life of the prison. But they never did that. To the contrary, even though they didn't think that they would ever be left free, they engaged in a different journey. A journey of redemption and a journey of rehabilitation. And often the people that begin their journey of rehabilitation and redemption in prison is often very internal in what they do, and one of our lawyers pointed out this today, is usually the path is people try to further their education, do things for self-improvement, which the brothers have done, by the way. But it's more unique or less usual, I guess, when people not only do that, but they also begin to engage in ways to make life for others better. And in this case, the brothers have been doing so for a very long time, creating groups to deal with how to address untreated trauma, creating groups to deal with other inmates that have physical disabilities and may be treated differently. Even in one case, Lyle negotiating for other inmates as to the conditions that they live under during prison. And all this was done by two young people, now they're not as young, that had no hopes of ever getting out of prison. They have been in prison for nearly 35 years. I believe that they have paid their debt to society, and the system provides a vehicle for their case to be reviewed by a parole board, and if the parole concurs with my assessment, and it will be their decision, they will be released accordingly. I must underline, however, this case will be filed in court tomorrow. The final decision will be made by the judge. Court has to agree with my conclusion that they deserve to be resentenced. It is very possible that there may be members of this office that will be present in court opposing the resentencing. And they have a right to do so. And we encourage those that disagree with us that will be present in court opposing the resentencing. And they have a right to do so. And we encourage those that disagree with us to speak, and the court is the appropriate place to do it. We certainly feel we're very sure not only that the brothers have rehabilitated and that they will be safe to be reintegrated in our society, but that they have paid their dues, not only for the crimes that they committed, but because of all the other things they have done to improve the life of so many others. So, again, we will be filing for resentencing tomorrow. We're seeking that they would be sentenced to life with the possibility of parole, as opposed to life without the possibility of parole, which is they currently have. That means that they would have 50 years to life because there were two murders. But because of the age upon which they were convicted, under 26, under current law, that means they're eligible for youthful parole. I think there is also important to have some introspection today, because I think that often, for cultural reasons, we don't believe victims of sexual assault, whether they're women or whether they're men. We saw in our first trial, which, by the way, they were tried twice. The first trial, hung, meaning the jury could not come to a conclusion, and in fact, about half of the jury wanted to convict them of manslaughter, which, if that were have been the case, they would have been off prison a long time ago. And then there was a second trial, and then they were convicted of murder with special circumstances, which led to the life without the possibility of parole. But it's salient to understand that our own implicit and sometimes explicit bias around sexual abuse and sexual assault often leads us to severe injustices in our community. And I want to speak to those that are victims of sexual assault now, whether you're a man or a woman. Know that we're here for you. If you're a victim of sexual assault in this community, and by that we're talking about LA County, not just LA City, you can come for help. Whether you're prepared to prosecute or not, we will be here for you. We have services for you. And if you're prepared to move forward with the prosecution, we will evaluate it as we do any other case. And if we believe that the evidence is there to present a credible case in front of a jury that can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, we would proceed accordingly. You do not have to suffer alone. You don't have to keep it to yourself. And help is here unconditionally. I'm going to say a few words in Spanish because I know there's tremendous amount of interest from the Spanish media, and I know that there are going to be other speakers today.
There you have it, an extraordinary development coming to us from Los Angeles at this hour. George Gascon, the Los Angeles County District Attorney, coming before the cameras there in Los Angeles to declare that he believes, and he will file this tomorrow, that the brothers, the Menendez brothers, Lyle and Erik Menendez, should be resentenced 3 decades after the murder of their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez. They received life without the possibility of parole. He believes, and it will be his suggestion, that they are resentenced to life with the possibility of parole because there were 2 murders. That would mean 50 years to life. And given their ages at the time, 19 and 21 years old, that means they could be released immediately given the time served, given the fact that they have spent nearly 35 years in prison. He did, at the very beginning of his news conference moments ago, acknowledge that within the DA's office, there is not complete agreement on this. He said there are those in the DA's office who argued that they should not be released and that they did not believe that these boys were molested, in his words.
Attention to his office and really that renewed interest, which prompted his office to once again review all of the evidence and all of the files in questions because the DA's office got flooded with requests for all of that information. Now, Gascon was very clear in saying that he does not excuse the behavior of the murders because it was an awful situation that did happen, but he does understand that sometimes people get desperate, especially when you're talking about victims of sexual abuse, which is what the brothers have been saying really all of these decades, that Erik Menendez was sexually abused by his father, Jose Menendez, for years, and that both brothers felt that the only way to get out of that situation was to kill their parents. Gascon also is saying that he does believe that the brothers have embarked and really undertaken this journey of redemption and rehabilitation, doing so for a very long time. And they even created groups within the prison system to help people and help other inmates on how to deal with their unaddressed trauma and how to treat it going forward. He said that he believes that they have paid their debt to society. Now,
going forward.
Guys, this is amazing news. Amazing news. I'm so happy for them. I just want to hear this timeline. How long is it going to take?
Now, he does encourage all of those who do oppose it to show up to court and let their voices be heard. Court is the only appropriate place to do so. He continued to assure all of the public and the media that was present in this that he feels that the brothers are safe to be released to society and that they have paid their dues and they have really, again, embarked on that journey of rehabilitation. And so that is why he feels strongly that they should be eligible for parole and possibly released immediately. So this resentencing has to do with them being sentenced to life in prison with parole as opposed to without parole. He did want to continue to reiterate that fact, that also because they were under 26 years old when these crimes happened. Remember, Lyle, I believe, was at 21 and Erik was just 18 when these murders occurred. He said that because they were under the age of 26, they would be eligible for parole after that 50-year mark, but they do have time served. It seems we have other speakers stepping to the podium. Let's pump this audio back up and listen in.
I would also like to acknowledge the other family members here, some standing, some seated. Joan Vandermolen is here, Kitty's sister, as well as Diane Vandermolen Hernandez, Kitty's niece. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Today is a day filled with hope for our family. We are here because District Attorney Gascon has taken a brave and necessary step forward by recommending a resentencing for Lyle and Erik. The DA's decision reflects the truth that is hidden for so long, and I am grateful for his leadership in making this choice. We stand united in our hope and gratitude. Together, we can make sure that Erik and Lyle receive the justice they deserve and finally come home. Thank you to District Attorney George Gascon for his courage and leadership. This step gives us all hope that the truth will finally be heard and that Lyle and Erik can begin to heal from the trauma of their past. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Maria.
Yeah.
I believe Jose Menendez is going to say a few words.
This is the niece of Kitty Menendez, Joan Vandermolen.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you for coming. We are here today because District Attorney Gascon has taken a brave and compassionate step forward by recommending resentencing for my cousins, Erik and Lyle. And we wish to offer our deepest gratitude to DA Gascon. This decision is not just a legal matter. It is a recognition of the abuse my cousins endured, and we are grateful for the DA's leadership in putting justice over politics. We know this wasn't an easy decision, but is the right one. This is about truth, justice, and healing. It is time for Lyle and Erik to come home. And I ask all of you to join us in this fight for justice. We stand united in our hope and in our gratitude. Together we can make sure that Erik and Lyle receive the justice they deserve and finally come home. Thank you again to District Attorney George Gascon for his courage and leadership. This step gives us all hope that truth will finally be heard and Erik and Lyle can begin to heal from the horrors of their past. We hope this will also shed light and increase awareness and help others who have been victimized by sexual violence. Thank you all so much for being here today. We are grateful for everyone's support.
Is there anyone else speaking?
No, that's it.
Okay. Okay, and I apologize. I'm reading notes here and I'm trying to understand all the notes. Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain, so you go tomorrow, you file a case for resentencing, Then what happens after? Are the brothers going to be there tomorrow? And when is the role of the parole board going to come in?
Right, and you know what? I'm going to actually have the people that are handling the case walk you through all of it. The brothers will not be there tomorrow. The role of parole board comes later. But Nancy, why don't you walk everybody through?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll file our... My name is Nancy Thaberge. I'm the deputy in charge of the resentencing unit. This is Brock Lunsford, assistant head deputy of the post-conviction litigation division. So what will happen is tomorrow we will file the actual petition requesting resentencing with the legal arguments and accompanying exhibits as to why we think it's appropriate. It's just a filing. No one's going to physically be in the courtroom. From there, we'll also serve the defense with our motion and our paperwork so that they'll have their copies. And from there, we will coordinate with the defense to set up a court date with the court so that the petition can be heard. Now, whether or not that's a setting or a hearing will be decided between us and the defense and the court once everybody gets an idea of what we've filed. Then from there at the hearing, the defense can either decide to have the defendants, the Menendez brothers, physically brought into court. They can ask that the individuals appear by video or audio WebEx, a kind of a Zoom participation, which we all kind of adapted to because of COVID. And then from there, we will do the hearing and submit all the written and legal and oral arguments and any evidence that needs to be admitted at the time, and then the court will rule at that point. But we don't have that court date yet because we're just starting the process tomorrow. But it's our intention to have that go forward before the habeas, because if the judge grants it, that may impact the defense's decision to proceed on the habeas. So we're gonna try it just as a matter of economy of time to stack it one before the other.
Now, have the brothers found out about this in real time, or were they told about this beforehand, or what was their reaction?
No, this was...
No, this is actually the family was only invited to come. They were not aware what the final decision was until a few minutes ago. The brothers may be actually seeing you guys on TV or social media, but no one knew other than a very small number of people in this office. And by the way, I should tell you that actually the final decision was just made about an hour ago. Right, then it goes back to the prison system, and then the parole system takes over that. That's correct.
Would there be a parole or probationary period? Would they have to live in a halfway house, or simply be released if they're allowed to be released?
You know, those are really completely entirely up to the parole board. Please, we'll try.
What was the factor that made the final decision? You said the final decision was just made. Was it the letter? Was it the Menudo confession? What was it that put you over the top to make?
No, what it was is I was evaluating the arguments that were being made within my office, both pro and against the release.
DA, can I ask you?
Hold on, I had
calls from people that
I'm, you have made resentencing a cornerstone of your tenure as district attorney here in Los Angeles. There are some people who have accused you of using this very, very highly publicized, clearly case to use it for politics, given how close we are to the election. What's your response to people who have been making that claim?
There's nothing political about this. We have resentenced over 300 people, including 28 for murder, and we will continue to resentence people in the future. And that's all I can tell you.
But DA, question. But
yes, sir. Excuse me, please. You're interrupting.
Everyone's interrupting. I'm just wondering how your bid for re-election.
Yes, please. Yes.
Could the brothers be home by Thanksgiving?
I don't know the answer to that.
Why did you decide not to go with the reduced voluntary manslaughter?
That was part of the process that I was still going through up until a couple hours ago. I don't believe that a manslaughter would have been the appropriate charge given the premeditation that was involved in the murders. I believe that these were clearly murders that were premeditated. Now, the motivation, that's where, differences of opinion come up, but I didn't think it would be appropriate to go all the way down to manslaughter.
DA,
yes, ma'am.
has your bid for re-election impacted
Would you
your
please
decision?
stop? I am not going to talk about re-election, okay?
Okay. So
if you want to talk to re-election, go outside. We'll talk later. Please.
Relax.
It's a fair question. No, it's not. It is a
I'm sorry, you're interrupting, sir.
Be respectful.
Please.
¿Qué va a pasar mañana después de que presenten en la corte?
Pues depende, como estaba explicando la abogada, la encargada de esta unidad, la Corte probablemente va a señalar otro día donde los dos, la defensa y nosotros, podemos ir y habrá una evaluación de la evidencia. Si hay alguien que se opone a esta moción que estamos, a este proceso que estamos iniciando, también la Corte va a poder oír todo eso y la Corte toma la decisión final. Yes, ma'am. Yes, because we're going to make a decision one way or the other. It's just a question what the decision was going to be.
Just giving
Yes.
you a timeline. If you are no longer in office, what happens to this case? Could a potential successor undo what you're about to file?
I don't think so. Once it's filed, it's filed. It's up to the court to take it from there.
You mentioned.
Yes, I'm sorry.
In a parole situation, obviously you've got a policy of DAs today. Since you're obviously supporting the push for release here, how would that work? Would people from post-litigation, would they go before the parole court to argue for the release?
No. We have a policy that we only send victim services advocate if the victim or the victim's family wants that support. We don't send lawyers to our parole boards to relitigate a case. The parole board is fully aware of what the initial crime was, the crime that led to the conviction. Their work is primarily to evaluate whether they're rehabilitated and safe to be released, and that will be the way here.
Can you break down the timeline for us? Can we expect a hearing by the end of the year? Do you know when we might?
Nancy, we don't know.
I'm hoping to get it on calendar, depending on the defense preparedness. I'd like to see it go to hearing probably within the next 30 to 45 days at the most. There's not much to argue. Because we're kind of collective.
Okay, there's one more question, please, but related to the case, not to elections. If you want to talk about elections, we'll do that.
Related to the case.
Yes, sir.
What would you like to say right now to Erik and Lyle Menendez?
What we like to say to them, and it's we, because it's not I made the final decision, obviously, but we have a whole team that worked on it. We have a family here that wants to be reunited, is that we appreciate what they did while they were in prison. While I disapprove of the way they handle their abuse, we hope that they not only have learned, which appears that they have, but that if they get reintegrated into our community, that they continue to do public good. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you just heard it there. The announcement that has been long awaited by the district attorney of Los Angeles County, George Gascon. They're greeting some of the family members that were present for that announcement of the Menendez brothers. The DA's office will be recommending that Erik and Lyle Menendez be
I think emotions are running high in chat. I appreciate you guys all being here. Let's break down what we just saw. So what we just saw was the fact that Lyle and Erik Menendez are going to be resentenced, and the resentencing recommendation is for murder. And due to their age, there is a law that since they were under a certain age, that they will be eligible for parole immediately. This is the recommendation from the DA. He is going to file it with the court tomorrow, and then the judge will decide if there's going to be a hearing, and the boys will come in person and speak to the judge in person. We're just not sure exactly how it's going to go. But the fact that they're being recommended, I think that a judge will take that extremely serious. Let me address the rules in chat. I mean, when we're covering something and chat is flowing, there are going to be comments that may get deleted if they're off topic and maybe a little distracting. So it's nothing personal. But when we ask not to do that and it keeps getting done, you will get timed out. And it's, again, nothing personal. It's about keeping chat flowing and keeping the conversation on topic as much as possible. This was a very, very important press conference for me. I've followed this case for many, 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 many years. So I appreciate you guys being respectful, even if you don't agree. Not everybody has to agree. I'm not sure. I think it goes to the parole board. So I don't know when that's going to be. They have to set up hearings. But the gist of it is that these guys are going to get a chance to go before a judge and possibly be free. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, I appreciate all of you. I really do. And if you guys are going to watch on Netflix, I skip Monsters and go right to Menendez Brothers. It's in their words, and you can hear it straight from them instead of actors that are dressed up as them. I find that to be a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion. So anyways, all of you guys, thank you for being here. I'm going to head back over to the Boone stream. We are still on. I don't know if they're even still running court. I've got to get back into Studio J. Thank you guys for being here. And justice for Lyle and Erik.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You wanna be with me. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently. You're making plans to get to friends, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. Staying up late, sleeping all day, dreaming about Cadillacs. Buying new shoes, hanging by the pool, sipping on Coke and Jack. Calling my phone when you feel alone, but I'll never call you back. 'Cause I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. I don't give a damn, I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You're mad at me for not giving you comfort. You say that I'm away so much and now you